Welcome back to Trots TV at the harnessmediacentre.com.au. It's time to have a look at a few of the horses that I put on trial this week. There are 3 of them as per usual. We're going to start with the trials at Goulburn on Monday afternoon. So this is May the 30th, and I'm going to show you trial number 2. The horse that wins this trial is trained by James Rattray. The horse carries the Rattray colours, and the horse's name is Chirac. Now, the horse showed good speed in the early stages of the trial, was able to cross down to the marker pegs, and then James was happy to let Bonaccord Gal work forward and stride to the front. Blake Hewitt drove Bonaccord Gal. Chirac is happy to settle down behind the leader, which is a good sign, and James Rattray is happy to sit there until inside the 400 metres when he pulls Chirac to the outside, and Chirac strides up to Bonaccord Gal and then is able to race past that mare, who I have put on trial recently. So obviously like the way Bonaccord Gal is going at the moment, but Chirac just picks her up very quickly, races straight past her, and has to be tapped along in the home straight. But I think Chirac looks like he's got some ability, and he showed that. He's formerly out of Tasmania. He raced in Tasmania very successfully. He's been transferred to James's team. He's had the 5 runs in New South Wales. He won a race at Menangle. Now, he drew barrier 10, and he ended up going 154.4 on that occasion from the wide draw. So he's obviously got very good gate speed, and we saw that in the trial as well. But I think he's a horse that you can follow. He's not highly assessed. James will be able to place him pretty well. I think he's a C5, so he's eligible for those C3, C5 races at Menangle, and he's got that good gate speed, so he can offset a wide draw. So I think Chirac is definitely a horse that is worth following out of the trials on Monday at Goulburn, and of course did pick up the scalp of Bonaccord Gal, who has been trialling very well of late. Now, so that's the Goulburn trial. I want to show you one from the Bathurst trials on Monday as well. Now, this was Monday night, and this was trial number 6. A horse by the name of Hall Night Party. Now, Hall Night Party is only very lightly raced, has had the 6 starts. He's won 4 of them. He's been placed on a couple of occasions, but and he had a very long time off, nearly the best part of 12 months off the scene, but he looks a really nice horse, and he actually beat older horses in this trial. He drew barrier 1 in this trial at Bathurst, and they were very quick to cross him, although Abercrombie Alice is a pretty good beginner and was able to get across very quickly. Hall Night Party sits behind the leader, relaxes, and travels quite strongly until the horse is pulled to the outside, turning for home. Now, Hall Night Party looks as though he's going to race past the leader pretty comfortably and run away with the trial. However, he just has to be given a couple of taps on the backside inside the last 50 metres just to put his head in front. So he goes on to win the trial. Still think he's learning. He looks as though he's still a bit green, but very impressive when he was pulled out of the pocket and got to the outside. He raced up very, very strongly. His trainer is Andrew Hall. He does a good job with a very small team. He's not a full-time trainer, and Matty Rue doing the driving. I think Hall Night Party might be a horse that can definitely race through his lower grades quite quickly, and then it'll be interesting to see where he gets to once he gets up to that C3, C4 level. But I do think he's well worth following in the short-term future. If you're looking for a quick return, I think Hall Night Party can win pretty soon. So he's a horse to follow out of those trials at Bathurst on Monday night. The times: he went 28.1, a mile rate of 159.1, and the quarters just kept getting quicker. They went 31.4, they went 30.5, they went 29.3 and 28.7. So that was a pretty impressive performance by Hall Night Party out of the Bathurst trials on Monday. And I'll take you to the trials on Tuesday at Tabcorp Park, Menangle, and there's a horse by the name of Tricolor. Now, he's a horse that has had plenty of homes. He actually started out in the stables of Doug Moore. He then went to Bernie Hewitt. He's spent some time in Queensland with Vicky Rasmussen. He came back to Bernie Hewitt. He went to Kerry Ann Turner for a run, and he's now joined the stables of Darren McCall. Now, Darren's already won a race with him. He's always been a handy horse. He's got very good gate speed, but he's been found wanting at in Metropolitan Company. Now, that wasn't the case in this trial because there's some pretty hot horses going around in this. Well, the biggest scalp he takes is Lenny the Shark. I think Lenny's obviously going to improve off this trial, but some other horses that he's able to beat home. Obviously, Better Bet Black. He's well performed stablemate. He was just having a hit out after missing last week. You've also got horses like My General Lee going around in this trial as well. Now, Tricolour begins very quickly and is first down to the marker pegs. My General Lee crosses in front of him, and then Better Bet Black works to the front. Now, they do run a pretty fast first quarter. I think they went 26.7 for the first 400 metres, and then the speed backs off, as it normally does after an early burn in a trial. They ran through the second quarter in 29.9. They quickened up again at 28.5. Now, as soon as Lenny the Shark makes his move, they're able to get away from the inside with Tricolour, and Tricolour just drops straight onto the 1-1 or into the 1-1 on the back of Lenny the Shark. Turning for home, Lenny the Shark looks as though he's going to win the trial, but to Tricolour's credit, he really digs in late. Has to be driven out to the line. They're pretty kind to Lenny the Shark, whereas a Tricolour's pushed out right to the line, and he gets the win, and they ended up going 151.9. They were home in 27 seconds. Look, he's a nice horse. Darren McCall's team's obviously flying at the moment, so anything that Darren's putting down, you've got to be respecting. But I do think with his gate speed, Tricolour is obviously going to be competitive at the Metropolitan level in the short term. He comes from off the speed on this occasion. I've always thought that he was a better leader than chaser, but running home over the top of Lenny the Shark, even when he's not 100% right, and Better Bet Black, I think is quite impressive. So I think he's a horse that you can follow going forward. For Darren McCall, Tricolour, named after a place in Greece, I believe. So Tricolour is the horse to follow out of the Menangle trials on Tuesday. So 3 horses going on trial. The horse out of Goulburn is called Chirac. The horse out of Bathurst is called All Night Party, and I think we can follow Tricolour, the horse that raced in the Menangle trial on Tuesday. Follow the runner-up in that one as well, Jillaby Jagger. Hit the line very, very impressively at the back end of a fast trial. Jillaby Jagger did a good job as well. So they're the horses going on trial this week here on Trots TV. I'll be back next week to do it all again.